one. Welcome, Thomas, and thank you for being on the show. It is so great to have you on here.
Thank you so much for having me. I mean, this is a blessing for sure. I can't wait to talk more in depth with you.
Yes, I can't either. So, but first, let's start with some fun rapid fire questions. I ask this with all my guests, and this is, like I said, easy. A little personal for my audience to get to know you a little bit better. So
For sure.
How does that sound?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So first off is, where are you from?
I am originally from Pennsylvania. I've moved around a bit. I mean, I've lived in New York. I've lived in North Carolina. I currently live in Boston. So that's a new exciting turn of my life. And then I've also lived overseas. So, just kind of tossing it up, just traveling and living life.
Wow. We'll have to talk a little bit more about that next time or later.
For sure.
You already answered my second question, which is where you live now, but so Boston, which is fine. Usually it kind of goes hand in hand, so it's all good.
For sure.
Third question is, what are you most passionate about?
Ooh, that's a deep one. Okay. All right. I think I'm most passionate about really helping people. I've been through a good amount in my life, whether that be through, mental health, spiritual health, emotional health. And I feel like my passion is really in helping people gain a better understanding of themselves, whether that be in those ways or physically. And helping them move past a lot of the restrictions that we tend to put on ourselves or that we gain from childhood or society.
Yes, I definitely agree. And yes, we are going to unpack that in just a bit. So awesome. So the next question is, who are you, if you have two top mentors, if one is fine. So who are your mentors?
Ooh, that's an interesting question as well, because I think because I feel like there's different categories in life. I think Jim Rohn is definitely a big mentor. Obviously, he has since passed, but I find a lot of value in his teachings on life, how to live life, how to gain value out of life. And then, on the business side, or I guess, so to speak, similar to, I guess, a mentality of living life and doing business in a better way would be like Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary Vaynerchuk is very adamant on, compassion and love and, really spreading awareness and having a good solid base of what matters. Like, you matter just as much, if not more, than what you're capable of producing. And that's something that I think has really hit the business world, kind of sidelined it. And that's something I really respect from him as well.
Yeah, those are two awesome mentors right there. And with Gary, it was such an interesting to see his transition, to see
For sure.
because it wasn't always that way, right? He wasn't
Yeah.
always, about taking care of yourself first and resting and self-care and all of that. But I think he's understanding. He's understanding that it is important, especially if you want to thrive in life,
Sure.
to take care of yourself first. And that's what he's preaching now. It's because it's true. So,
For sure.
from a guy who was like, hustle your face off, hustle your effing face off, nonetheless,
Yeah.
to hustle your self-care off, whatever it is. But
For sure.
yeah, it's just, those are two great mentors, and yeah, love them. So the last question I have for you is, what is your superpower?
Ooh, I'm not sure I have a superpower.
Sure you
I
do.
think that I do very well with listening. I think I'm able to hold space for people because I've gone through a lot in my life. And with that, obviously people tend to trust me. They tend to open up more. They tend to be more vulnerable around me. And that helps me help them. And then I guess in that same respect, moving forward into, leadership, like I'm able to lead people because we've built that foundation of respect, that foundation of love. And, it's not based on, the normalized conception of, just do, just listen to me. This is for your best interest. Like let me at least share what I can help you with and give you my perspective. You don't have to take it, but if I share it, at least I know that I did what I could do, to provide you, I guess, benefit moving forward.
Nice. Yeah, it's definitely, they say we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? So being a great listener is key. And it's also great for building relationships too.
For sure.
So that's great. Okay, well, you said it, I would love to kind of dig into a little bit more about Thomas. So who are you? What is your background? And how did you get into what you're doing today?
Yeah. So just like, let's unpack that a little bit, because I
There's
know
a
I've
lot,
already
I'm
shared.
sure.
Yeah. There's so much to go on with. Growing up, I guess you could say I did not have the best childhood. Obviously coming from a split home and, having 4 siblings, I ended up with a lot of responsibility at a young age. And through that, I put more emphasis on taking care of people than taking care of myself. And moving forward, graduating high school, I went directly to the military. The military obviously comes into this whole realm of, okay, you're going to be molded into what we want, as opposed to, help you find who you are. And I ended up, I guess, losing a lot of myself, or just being molded into something that I later had to unpack into, what am I and what was I given? And that obviously takes a while. So did the whole military thing. I was in the Marines. I have been a chef for 11 years. And through the military, I was a chef. So did that. I ended up getting married.
Okay.
I got married. It was quite toxic, because you have 2 young people that don't really know who they are, and they're putting a lot of their own troubles on each other, expecting a result to be created for a mutual benefit, which doesn't usually happen correctly, especially at that age. Ended up getting divorced and, moving back, getting out of the military, moving back up north. And since that point, it's been all internal. It's okay, personal growth. It's been a lot of awakenings with, obviously emotion, spirituality, and self. And then moving forward, I mean, I've left the restaurant industry because of COVID, with obviously the knowing that I wasn't taking care of people's health the way I wanted to. In the restaurant industry, we tend to feed people what they want, but that's not always what's good for them. It's not always providing that same result that at least I wanted. And being somebody that has taken care of myself very in tunely with health and fitness, and obviously drinking the right water, I definitely felt a disconnect between feeding people, whatever they want, burgers, fries, whatever. And, what I ended up doing on the side, as really educating people on water quality and bettering their health through the simplest change that you could really make. And had that disconnect, ended up leaving the restaurant industry. COVID allowed me that opportunity to evolve into a new avenue. And since that point, it's been about, actually, it's been literally a year almost to the date. And since that point, I mean, I could not be more grateful for that push to get into really genuinely helping people, because it's aligned not only just my purpose of helping people and really nurturing people, but having a community of people that, you know, are able to have like-minded thoughts and direction and purpose, and have the opportunity to meet people like yourself. That's something that, like, I've tended to dream about for many years, but I never really knew it could happen.
Yeah. Wow. So there's a lot there that we can, you know, kind of uncover, because, you know, first off, I just got off another interview about how, you know, the unfortunate of COVID is the fortunate that sometimes things happen, you know.
For sure.
So we see a silver lining in things, because I wouldn't have started my podcast and you wouldn't have started what you're doing,
For sure.
you know, if it wasn't, you know, this transition, this stop, like, you know,
Yeah,
stop what you're doing and, you know, go 180, do a 180, and, you know, do something that you really love and really are passionate about. Because number
for
one,
sure.
we're given that time now, right? We're given that um well, now that we're, you know, on Zoom, and
Yes,
we're given that opportunity to have this time. And number two is, we're both in the health and wellness area, right? What is going on? Health and wellness epidemic.
for sure.
So I think
For
this
sure.
is, you know, the not only the best time, but a good time to do what we are out here to do.
For sure.
So
Just bring awareness and help people get a better understanding of how they can help themselves.
yeah,
And I mean, you can't, like, it's been super rewarding, and obviously I imagine you've had a lot of lessons in that as well. As you can talk to somebody a million times, if they're not ready to hear the information, they're not going
yeah,
to hear it. So it's
yes,
like, doing what we do, it you have to become, I guess, just empathetic to the people that maybe aren't ready, and you'd be like, okay, you're just not ready to hear what I have to say. That's okay. I'll be here. I'll be
mhm,
here when you are ready. But we can't allow our energy to be completely drained by forcing people or trying to push information down people's throats. Like, we're here for the people that want to learn. And I love that you have created, you know, a whole podcast, a whole community based on, you know, people really caring about their health, caring about what's going into their bodies and what their body's coming in contact with, because that's our best response. That's our best defense about or against everything that's going on in the world
yeah,
at the moment.
yeah. Well, it's all knowledge, you know, and that's what we're here to do. You know,
For
we
sure.
can't, we're not, you know, holding people down, or, you know, chaining people up to say, here, you got to have this. And you're right, because, you know, we're just take yourself, for example. Like, if somebody was to tell you what to do, would you be doing it right now? No. It's all
No.
about timing. It's all about, you know, you're the right time for you. And we're here planting the seeds.
Hmm.
We're here giving that knowledge. And if that person, I mean, I don't know about you, but how I got into health and wellness, I literally thought in my life I was going, you know, I was healthy, but I
For
wasn't,
sure.
you know. One day I just woke up and I'm like, this is it. This is the day that I'm going to go. I, you know, usually went to the gym, but this is the day I'm going to go and lift weights and have a
Okay.
program. You know, I'm going to have a
Yes.
program. I'm not just going to go on cardio, you know. So I just woke up one day and said I wanted to be like one of the fitness models. Obviously, I'm not going to be, but you know, it was just it was something to aspire to kind of work for.
For sure.
And then it snowballed from there. But that, it was a timing issue. It was like,
Yeah.
it's the right time. Now
Yeah.
I kind of want to go back a little bit. So you were
Okay.
talking about being in the Marines, and then, you know, going into chef. So obviously there's two different things there. I have like several questions. I'm trying to kind of figure out which one is going to be the best one to ask right now. But I think what I want to get into is how did you get into it, like being a chef? Were you always interested in cooking, or how did that come about?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And I think that goes back to having that kind of responsibility growing up because my mom, well, originally my mom was a baker and a chef. So it was kind of part of me and part of how we grew up. And, moving into when my parents got divorced, a lot of that responsibility fell on me. And, I had to take care of my younger siblings and ensure that they were fed, they did their homework, all of that. And, I found myself enjoying it very, very much so. So I ended up going to vocational school in high school and, obviously learning more skills, got into a restaurant that was pretty high class, quite fine dining for, the Poconos, and got a lot of my in-depth training from the chef there, whether, that was a, traditional Italian and French cuisine spot. So I got a lot of my foundation there. And then moving into the military, that was a way in my head at the time, it was a way for me to be able to pay for culinary school. So I was utilizing the military and the GI Bill to, eventually get out and go to culinary school. And through the military, I was a chef in the military. So it's like I continued that trend. I learned more skills and, obviously that came into a lot more personal skills with leadership and discipline and clearly stuff that I probably needed at the time. Um, and then, when I got out, it was just something that I fell back on. It was something that I knew, I know, I love, and it fulfilled me in a way of taking care of people. And later down the road, I've unpacked and found that cooking is a way for me to share love with people. It's a way for me to nurture people on that deep level. And like I was saying before, what really pushed me out of it was the fact that I didn't feel that I was nurturing people the way I wanted to. And that's what drove me away from the industry for the time being.
Wow. So it's kind of like we were talking about COVID, how um, something that's not a good thing came out to be a good thing. So
For sure.
your parents splitting
Mhm.
helped you step up.
Yeah.
And like you said, you took that leadership role, right? So how did it feel so you said you liked it, right? You liked the cooking and you liked did you like being a leader as well? Is that something that you like as well?
Yes. I mean, it's something that I tend to naturally fall into. I'm tend to be quite outspoken. I tend to share my thoughts and, I tend to, I guess, take that kind of hold of the situation a lot of times. And, create that kind of, I foster that relationship with people where it's like I said earlier, like you build a relationship of respect. And, when you tend to say things, people begin to listen. And it's like, it's not, maybe it sounds bad, but I just find myself being a leader in a lot of situations where I tend to take more responsibility on myself than maybe other people are willing to.
Mm.
And, for better or worse, I care for people, a lot. So I end up being a lot of maybe a mentor or a guide or for, a lot of people that I do come in contact with.
That's great. That's great. It's a great quality to have. So that's awesome. It just it shows up also in how you present yourself too. I just want to say that. It's
Well,
just
thank you.
yeah. So I want to kind of get into how you guys started. So who are you working for? Like, is it Kangen? Is it let me see here. Yeah. So how did you get into water? Like, why water?
Yeah.
How did you get into this?
Yeah. No, that's a great question. Water was something that I always was aware of, like how it impacted your health. I was always, drinking a gallon of water a day. I was always, obviously working out, eating the right stuff, but I never understood that there was different kinds of water. So when this kind of came into my awareness, and this was during my spiritual and emotional, I guess, transformation, I found a account on Instagram, which is very happenstance. And they started, providing a lot of, motivational, spiritual, quotes. And, I followed the page, and over time, they started incorporating some, information about water and, alkaline water versus reverse osmosis and all these different kinds. And it really intrigued me because I was already pretty aware of nutrition, but water was something that I didn't personally consider. I was drinking bottled water and I really didn't like it because the whole sustainability aspect. I tend to, be a very avid green thumb. I love gardening. I love, planting and stuff. So the plastic issue and the, obviously the single-use plastic issue in the world was something that kind of was off-putting for me. So I ended up finding myself drinking more so tap water. So over time, I learned more and more about water in general and the different kinds and how the systems are working. And it came into my awareness that way. But that was about a year and a half before I even made the transition. And the transition was really imposed by a budding relationship, a relationship that I'm now fully happy with. Me and my lady have been together about a year and a half now, and she had a machine herself. And it was something that we had spoken about on the first interaction because she had mentioned the water. And I was like, you don't have the water. There's no way. Because in my head, it was just something that I kept seeing, but I was too scared to make the jump.
Mm.
I didn't want to be that guy that hopped onto something and bought something online and ended up getting scammed. I didn't want to go through that. So it blew me away that she had one. And through that process, I ended up, experiencing the water myself and having, kind of that, I guess, awakening of like, okay, this is a real thing. But at that point, it was free water. I didn't have to get my own machine. I was like, this is great. I could, get the water. Like I could be cheap. I don't have to, go to the
but you
store.
had to pay in
whatever.
other ways, right?
Oh yeah, naturally.
Food, dinners.
Oh
stuff
my
like
gosh.
that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was cooking every meal.
Nice. There you. Yes, exactly. That was free for her.
For sure. It still is. It still is. By all means.
There you go.
So ended up that my mom had, obviously over time I got more educated and stuff. And in the beginning of COVID hits, my mom actually calls me at probably late March, early April. And she says, Tom, I got to tell you something. And I'm like, oh boy, what is it? And I'm thinking like my brothers did something, like somebody's in trouble.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, like I have cancer. And I was like, hoo, boy, all right. So at that moment in my brain, I had two choices. I could, obviously grieve and be upset and be angry or, whatever, or I could take the lead and be like, okay, what's the plan? And I knew that my siblings were already on the, like, oh, we don't know what to do. Like, let's be sad. And I just couldn't be that. I don't know, whatever reason, it just was not there for me. And maybe that's a lack of empathy on my part, but I was like, Mom, don't worry. It's going to be okay. I got this water. I'm going to buy you this machine. It's going to be good. Don't worry about it. And she's like, Tom, what are you talking about? Like
Yeah.
She must have thought I was crazy. I thought I was crazy because it's like, it's something that I didn't invest in, but it was my push to invest in.
Yeah.
So at that point, it really drove me to realize that she needed this. She needed this to help her, allow her body to heal itself. I needed to provide her this to give her the best chance. From a holistic standpoint, our body's 70% water. Our diet needs to be 60 to 70% water. We need to be flushing out toxins. We need to be providing our bodies a deeper mineral content. We need to be, obviously detoxing all that stuff, especially in her case, where she was, in the mix of going holistic and doing all the nutrition. And then the doctors imposed, hey, you need to do radiation. You need to do chemo. And the water just ended up being this kind of bridge between the two, where it added to her life. It kept her more vivid and more, I guess, energetic through that whole process. And her body was able to, obviously get back to that level of homeostasis that we all yearn to get to.
Yeah. Well, first off, I see the leadership taking charge again, right? The leader, like, I got this, mom, which is good, because I think at that time, when things like that happen, somebody has to take charge. Somebody has to be the focus and kind of not break down and not, still be emotional, of course, but kind of like, okay, we got this. We're gonna get through this, and I can handle this. Now the question I want to ask is what is in this water that helped your mom? First of all, actually, before we get into that, how is your mom?
She's doing good.
Good.
She can't, like, I guess there's a time limit before they say you're in remission.
Yeah.
But as of right now, she has had surgery. She had half her lung removed. She did have a growth on her lung, and it did spread to her lymph node system. So they did mark her as stage 3, but since 2 weeks ago, she had, a full body scan, and they said that she does not have any cancer, but obviously they do integral checks over, I think, a year and a half before they will say that you're in remission. So far, so good. Obviously, we're still on the journey, but I can't complain about the progress that has been made.
Good. And I'm sorry to hear that about your mom.
It's okay. Everything's good.
Yeah, exactly. And it's great to have a son like you to help. And I'm sure your siblings as well. I'm just saying that it's nice to have somebody that is here to support and give her all that love. So I'm sure that she is gonna come out with great news, obviously.
Yeah.
And so then back to the question, how did this water help her? Like, what's in it that gave her this vitality, that gave her this that helped her?
For sure. Well, I think there's 3 main categories that this water helps with. So first off, we have to have an understanding of regular water. Regular water, whether that be tap, bottled, reverse osmosis, it's all acidic. And acidity in water just means that it has a lack of those alkaline minerals. So pretty much with most bottled waters, on the basis, it is acidic. And with that, when you drink acidic water, because it is lacking that mineral content, it ends up leaching a lot of the minerals from your bones, from your ligaments, from your tendons, from your body to use in digestion and use in those natural bodily processes. So over time, obviously, that builds up. You end up having a lack of those minerals, and your body ends up getting sicker. Oxidation starts happening. And I know a lot about free radicals. You end up having more oxidative stress. Free radicals are causing more harm. So what is great about this water is the fact that it has an abundance of antioxidants. It's an ionization unit. So pretty much it creates antioxidant. It separates the acid water from the alkaline water, and then it goes through a process of electrolysis, which is very deep on the scientific scale, which we're not going to get into because it's boring. But pretty much it produces an abundance of hydrogen molecules that are incorporated into that water through that process. And hydrogen molecules are the most abundant antioxidant. So that's providing your body not only the minerals that it was lacking, but the antioxidants to rid your body of those free radicals, that oxidative stress, and at the same time reduce inflammation, which all combined help heal your body, or help your body allow itself to heal. Obviously, we can't say that the water in general heals you or nutrients in general heals you, but it allows your body the best opportunity for success.
Right. So it's a great addition to recovery. You know, and you said it, inflammation. Inflammation is key to you know, obviously what's ailing us. You know, our body is inflamed, you know, we can't heal. So how do we take care of that? Well, we have to have the antioxidants to get rid of that that inflammation. So that I like how that process goes. Is it how do you do it? Is it a machine? Is it it like this little bottle? How does it work?
Yeah, so I think that's a great question. So pretty much you have a machine, you purchase a machine, and the machine can hook directly to your faucet, to your sink. It could go under the counter, over the counter, whatever the aesthetic that you're going for. And it pretty much is a pneumatic system. So that means that the water goes through the machine, it pushes itself through the machine. And through that process, it has a filter, it removes, you know, couple contaminants, it removes some hard metals, it removes odor, it removes, you know, bacteria. And then moving through into the electrolysis process, it runs over a series of platinum coated titanium plates. And with that when electrified, it ends up producing those antioxidants. It reorganizes the molecular structure of the water. So in general, on average, water tends to have between 10 and 20 molecules stuck together because of the, you know, anions and, you know, the ions. So negative and positive, they're sticking together. So with this water, it separates those larger molecules into smaller molecules of about 4 to 6 molecules. So that means that through that process, when you drink it, your body can more easily absorb it. It can more easily take the nutrients out of the food that you have consumed and bring that into your cells. It can more easily enter your cells and flush toxins from your cells, and then overall detox your entire body, provide you more energy, more efficiency of your body, more mental clarity. And there's a list of things that I can say about it for sure.
Wow. So why are people bottling this? Like what's like why is this? Yeah, I guess why aren't these on the shelves?
Yeah. So this is really the key. Antioxidants, they only last so long because it is an electrical process. It only lasts in water for about 72 hours. Okay. So that is why it can't be bottled. You know, with the machine, having in your house is vital, because if you get it first out of the tap, one 8-ounce glass of Kangen water is the equivalent to 5 pounds of blueberries in antioxidants. Wow. But over time, over those 72 hours, it begins to lose that charge. It begins to lose that electricity, that livelihood that you would get immediately from the machine. So pretty much what it's doing is enacting or mimicking natural spring water when lightning hits a lake and all those molecules are fully abundant. You know, look at areas of healing water like Lourdes, France, or Pakistan, where people are living to 100, 120 years old. And they're drinking this water that's highly abundant in hydrogen molecules. So having something at your house, which is mimicking that natural resource. We don't all have private jets.
No, we don't. We'd like to, but no.
One day we'll
One
get
day. Yes.
there.
Yes. It's on my vision board.
Help enough people, we'll get there.
There you go. There you go.
But having it there, that's the real reason why it can't be bottled, because it does not last over time, and that's why other companies have tried to, recreate alkaline water. Look at, Essentia or any of these other companies that are making alkaline water. And it's like, I give props to anybody who is buying alkaline water, because clearly they see that there's a problem, and they're trying to act on it with the knowledge that they have. But if we look at the real problem now, it's the fact that, it's chemically altered as opposed to electrically altered. So pretty much they're adding baking soda to the water so it looks as if it's alkaline, but it's not helping your body the same way that a naturally occurring alkaline water would.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm right there buying the alkaline or the, that water. But I always, and it's funny because I always know when you talk about the plastic, right? And in my mind, yes, the plastic, for the environment is not good. But then
For sure.
toxicity kind of rings in my mind every time I see plastic bottles, and I'm like, you're putting alkaline water in plastic bottles. How it doesn't match up, right? But you try, and it's people don't know more about this, I guess. So
for sure.
Now a question I have, it just came up, is so this water, are people still able to drink? How we have to drink like, a gallon of water a day now. Does this stand true for this water, or is it, how does that, like, is there like a cutoff that how much you can drink of this? Or because I don't know, I know it's pure, but I'm just saying, like, it's, there's some sort of like too pure, like it's gonna make things too old, all of that.
So that's a great question. Actually, I get that question quite often.
Really? I thought it was a stupid question, but okay.
No, not at all. No, don't feel bad whatsoever, because people do have that thought of like, okay, cool, like it is a medical grade device. So when people see that, they're like, oh, like, can I drink a lot of it? Is like, am I going to overdose? Like, there's a lot of like weird questions that come up because it is a medical grade device, but pretty much it's water. You're drinking water. Now it's just a higher quality water. It's water that is abundant in antioxidants. The machine produces 7 kinds of water, 7 pHs of water, from, 3 drinking waters to a all-purpose cleaner water, a disinfectant water, which I think you would really like, because I know you talk a lot about hand sanitizers and how, that's clearly not good for us if we're just, using it all the time or inhaling the fumes, or there's a whole lot of things. But it also has, a beauty water, which is the same pH as your skin, as your hair. And it's one that plants love. So me being a gardener, like, I use it all the time.
Nice.
So it's like, it does fit a range of different things to make your home or business non-toxic, because it is regulated and certified for industrial and commercial use as well.
So does, like, somebody buys it, right? Is it once a year? How is it forever if they buy this thing? How does that work?
Yeah, so the company's been around for almost 47 years, out of Japan. And like I said before, they are made in a medical facility. On average, what we're allowed to say right now is that they will last 30 plus years.
Oh.
So they will last an extended amount of time. Obviously, if you keep up with the maintenance, the filter needs to be changed every 6 months to a year, depending on how often you're using it. And then they do recommend a deep cleaning once a year for the company to go in and clean the plates and make sure that it's pristine and keeping the same value, providing you the same value year and year again.
Nice. Okay, well, it's a great investment, it sounds like.
Oh,
It's,
for sure.
it's something I think we all need, because not only, I drink a lot of water, and
Yeah.
unfortunately when we moved, we didn't have a filter.
Mm.
So I'm like sipping things through the tap water, and all I keep thinking is, oh my God, all these toxins in me.
Yeah.
Soon enough. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I think the electrolytes and the balance, especially the pH balance,
Mm.
in our water, in our system, is key,
Mm.
to living longer,
For sure.
so how are you doing on it? Like, is this something that you've noticed in your life that is, kind of health wise been really good?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was not expecting much. Going into it, like it was something, obviously, I jumped in for my mom. And then through that process, I realized, like, if she can get it, that means I can get it. If she can be sick, that means I can be sick. And I didn't want to allow that for myself, or, impose that on my kids or future family down the road. So it was something that I bought one for her, I bought one for myself. And through it, I wasn't expecting much. I was already eating healthy, I was already working out, I was already taking care of my body. But what I found was more value than I could have comprehended just alone on the health side. I ended up drinking this water, and I became more energized. I had more energy. I felt more present to the situation. I was more mentally clear. I ended up, over time, obviously, over the years that you are drinking acidic water, you kind of, compound your body. So it takes a while to detox. And over
Right.
that detox, I found that I had abnormally high acid reflux before the water.
Mm.
I didn't realize that that was a problem. I thought it was normal. I thought that when you work out or when you eat and you're getting it, coming back up, and I thought all that was normal.
Mhm.
And through drinking this water, it stopped.
Mm.
And I realized, that probably wasn't normal. There's probably other people dealing with the same thing that don't think it's abnormal either. So it's like you can help those people. And then over time, I found out that we tend to have and hold about 15 to 20 pounds of skunk in our intestines, in our colon. And throughout drinking the water, probably for about a month, I flushed all that out.
Yeah.
And then I further learned that the colonoscopy inventor and the inventor of the polypectomy puts his patients on this water for a mandatory amount of time before he does a second checkup, doing a colonoscopy, to see if they still have polyps in their colons or in their intestines, so that he doesn't have to do surgery unless it's necessary. And that
Wow.
for me blew my
Did it.
mind,
Yeah.
blew my
Yeah.
mind.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. So all in all, good. All in all, it's this,
Yeah,
good
blessing.
investment. And yeah, exactly. Exactly. A blessing. So, Tom, how can people get this? Like, obviously, we're all wanting to get one of these things in our
For
home. So
sure.
how can somebody get this?
Yeah. So it really can be bought directly on the website.
Okay.
Or, I mean, obviously, with that, it is recommended to go through a distributor like myself, or anybody, maybe somebody that has a Kangen machine. I recommend obviously talking to them, getting more information, or if you want, please feel free to come to me. I'd love to help anybody that I can. And I would love to share information on the water. If you're going to be doing your own research, we always recommend going on PubMed or Google Scholar, because Google is paid advertisement and there's a lot of different miscommunication that's spread. The actual name of the water, or I guess the type of water, is called electrolyzed reduced water. So that's the overall name or type of water that it is. It's not just alkaline. It's not just antioxidant rich, but it's electrolyzed reduced water. And that has many studies on PubMed, on different health and stuff like that, you know, it would be great to check out if that's something that interests you.
Great, great. Yes. And, you know, thank you for, you know, your knowledge, and also for giving, no, it's serious, like because, you know, we don't know this. And that's
Yeah,
why people should reach out to you, is because
for
obviously
sure.
you can, you know, answer more questions, because
Yeah,
again, this isn't, you know, this is science. This is
yeah,
science. So a lot of people, me including, don't know a lot about the science of water. And we're just
yeah,
thinking, oh yeah, is water, like you said.
yeah,
But in all actuality, water is pretty important in our lives. And if we don't
yeah,
have good drinking water, then we're not really living the healthy lives that we think we are.
yeah.
So
Or
it's
that you
really
want to
key
live.
that you want to live.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, I mean, look at me. Like, I thought I was on the right track. I thought I was doing everything right. I was eating right. I was
Yeah.
working out. I was drinking water. I was, you know, trying to be a little bit more aware of a non-toxic living. But until I came in contact with this machine, with this opportunity, and with this water, I didn't realize the extent of how much more I could do.
Yeah.
You know, like now it's like in the home, now it's like I use essential oils instead of chemical cleaners. I use the 2.5 water to disinfect the house, or, you know, clean anything. I use the 11.5 as an all-purpose cleaner to remove the pesticides off my produce, whether that be organic or not. That's huge.
Yes.
You know, and
Yes.
being a chef, like, I
Didn't
realized
know.
the implication of pesticides, you know, like I know how that's affecting people. And, you know, having something that's so powerful and natural to remove the pesticides, give my family a healthier quality of food, as well as, you know, more nutrient absorption of what you're eating, it's crucial. It's crucial to the betterment of us moving forward. And then it's helping reduce the, you know, the plastic, the single-use plastic issue, and create a better sustainable world.
Here, here. It's a win-win all around. Win-win all around. So that lady friend of yours, that lady girl of yours is on point with something. So thank
Yeah,
goodness,
she's
right?
special. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's
She's
great.
a special
Well,
woman.
oh, that's so sweet. Well, Tom, thank you. You know, I just want to say it's just been a pleasure having you on here. So
Thank you.
where could people reach out to you? Where do you live? Where do you live? On social.
You want my
I mean,
address?
on
I don't
social.
know.
No. I meant, where do you live on social media,
Gotcha.
so that people can follow you, and
Yeah.
hopefully reach out to you to get more questions on this water.
Yeah, I would love to help anybody that's interested or has any questions. Obviously, I'm always open and wanting to share information with anybody that has any inquiries. You can find me, I'm mostly on Instagram, and that's at Thomas, THOMAS _ Sinner, SINNER. I know that's kind of a weird name, but don't worry.
I had to
I'm here to
ask.
help.
I did remember. I had to ask. Like, is that your real last name?
That's the real
Yeah,
name.
that's awesome. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's quite, no, it's okay. It's quite the opposite from, I guess, my personality. So it's super interesting to have that kind of play on words.
Yep.
But yeah, Instagram is my main account, or you can find me on Facebook at Thomas Sinner, and both profile pictures are the same. So you'll be able to really hone in on who I am.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, great, Toms. And before I get to the last question, I just want to acknowledge again, you know, you are a true leader. You are a true leader in terms of, you know, what you've gone through, how you took initiative in your life, and just the transitions that you've gone through. And not only that, but you sought opportunity and you sought your values, and you knew that what you were doing was not in line with your values, and not in line with who you are as a person. And it's great that that you understand who you are, and you took that journey through what you've been through and understanding who you are. And now you're here teaching people about water, about the wonderful effects of this water that you're here talking about. And I just want to acknowledge you for showing up and for being who you are and helping so many people with this. So thank you again.
Thank you. I mean, it does mean a lot. I know, as I guess most people deal with, you tend to give and give and give, and it's always great to hear that, you're making a difference. So I really appreciate you saying that. And then, for the people that are interested, I mean, everybody needs water. Everybody's already paying for water. May as well pay for a better quality water, and one that, is an investment in your health, investment in your family's health and your overall quality of life. Like, the money's already there. It's just moving it over to something that's going to be more for you.
Yeah. Invest in your health. That is definitely key.
Yeah.
It's
your health is your wealth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Is what I say. Yes. So last question that I have for you is, can you leave us with a favorite quote or any words of wisdom?
I think we all have a duty, not just to ourselves, but to the people we love and the people we care about. I found that, over my time, I'm not that old, but over the time that, I've gone through my trials and tribulations, I've found that, you have to be true to yourself. And if you're not true to yourself, you're not really helping yourself or the people around you. And, through this opportunity, I've found more value, not only just in my health, but in myself, and how it's created an opportunity that I could not have comprehended, one that, I was trying to manifest for many years. So I would say that, if you have an instinct, if you have a feeling or an intuitive tell, your body's telling you to do something in any aspect, stay aware of it. Stay aware of, what your body's telling you, what your mind's telling you, what your heart's telling you. And don't be afraid to act on those things, because I waited a year and a half. On which, sometimes I think about maybe, my family wouldn't have had to gone through that. Who knows? You can't guess that. But you know what? That time was my lesson. Don't wait a year and a half on whatever's your body's telling you, whatever your mind's telling you, whatever your heart's telling you. Do what you have to do. Take the action, even if it's uncomfortable, because those jumps are going to make you more well-rounded than you could have guessed.
Wow. Yes, definitely profound. I love it. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Thomas, for being here. Yeah, it was such a pleasure, and we could talk forever about health, wellness, water, all of that. So I'm so grateful for having you on here, and blessed that you are doing what you're doing. So thank you again.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been more than a pleasure, and I look forward to having more conversation with you.
Oh, definitely. But for now, have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you. You as well. Happy weekend.
Happy weekend.